you guys are going to start a trend because that one is actually one you could wear out to the club. I think that's who put this one together.
See, it's a mystery. It just showed up in the clubhouse one day. There's some suspicion that it was Guriel. I
Mm.
could see I could see Longo having some influence on that one as well. But and I was over by Nicky's locker too, so maybe it was Nick. But yeah, I think Tori was joking that he's got one like that in his garage or something like that.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 196 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media. And one of my bosses, Jake Storiali, is extremely excited today because we're talking about, Jake's Snakes. And the centerpiece of this team moving forward, he is Corbin Carroll. Corbin, welcome to the Chris Rose Rotation. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Yeah, here in DC for a couple days. Got a little off day here and got to tour the Capitol. So, fun little exciting trip.
Yeah, for a guy who's kind of bouncing around most of these cities for the first time ever as a big leaguer, do you make sure that you kind of take everything in? Do you take a little bit of time? I know the schedule's crazy and all that sort of stuff, but you grew up out west, so I don't even know if you had a chance to visit DC before.
Yeah, you know, came out here one time in seventh grade. We had the seventh grade trip here. But you're right. Yeah, most of these cities, hadn't been to, let's see, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh was a new one too, um, Miami. So lots of fun checking these cities out. And, I'm a little bit of a foodie. So trying to find some good food spots in all these cities we're going to.
All right, so out of all these cities that you've hit so far, if there was one food place you're telling me to go to, which city am I headed to, and what's the place?
All right. Definitely San Francisco. There was a amazing hole in the wall sushi spot. Um, what was it? I think it was called Akita, something like that.
Okay.
Unbelievable. You know, I went with a group of guys, and we showed up, and I got some looks when we walked in that door. They're like, "Where'd you take us?" And when we left, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable."
Who'd you roll with that day?
Ooh, we went with Alec Thomas, and then some of the young pitchers. It was Tommy Henry, Ryan Nelson, uh, Brandon Pfaadt was there. Um, yeah, good crew. It's fun to have some young guys to go through this with.
Okay, so I'm no math major here, but those all sound like pre-arb guys, if you know what I mean. And since you did just sink your teeth into a nice deal right before the season started, does that mean you have to pick up the tab every time you roll with these guys?
I try to. I love to. It's if there's one thing that I'm willing to splurge on, it's definitely food and just taking care of the guys. So, but actually, I that one was the one that time that I didn't. Someone stuck their card in the bill before I even saw it. I was like, man, I got suckered.
Okay, well, let's give them a shout out. Let's let
Yeah,
everybody know who
shout
doesn't
out,
have the.
shout out Nelly. Nelly picked up that one.
Anyway, Ryan, good job.
Good,
Good
good guy
work.
right there. Yeah.
All right. So do we have a full Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies? He didn't call it a mullet. He would call it a mullet to give it a little class. Is that what we're going for these days?
Um, I think you just can't switch it up when things are working. So it's kind of taking on a mind of its own over here. But we're rolling with it, and hopefully we'll be getting it cut pretty soon here.
No. You got to let that thing eat, dude. Just let it go. I mean, you're in first place at the time we're talking. Just that thing might be down to your ass by October.
You're right. You're right. No, that wouldn't be too shabby, would it? That a lot of things would have gone right if that was the case. So.
Um, so there's for you as a guy who hasn't even had 100 games in the show yet. There are growing experiences each and every day, and I imagine one of the cool things for you is seeing little kids with the Carroll jersey on and all sorts of stuff. But did you have a chance to turn around and see Kevin Durant wearing your jersey out in Arizona this year?
Yeah, that was super cool. But you're right. It brings such a big smile to my face seeing you know, some of the younger kids start to populate some Carroll jerseys over at Chase Field. But yeah, I grew up going to Mariners games. It'd be lots of Griffey jerseys, even though he wasn't playing. Impactee out in the city. You're looking at your Felix jerseys, Seager jerseys. Um, and then I actually got to go back this year for the 18 inning playoff game and check that out. And the stadium was just littered with Julio jerseys. I mean, they love them there. And so just kind of cool to see that next wave rolling in and just the impact that, kind of some of the young guys are having on the game.
Wait, did you stay for all 18 innings?
Of course. Yeah, I went with Mama Carol.
That's awesome. I love that. Were you into it as a fan, or because you're now a big leaguer, was it a different feeling for you?
No, I was into it as a fan. That one was a kind of a cool atmosphere. There was a ton of Seattle sports that day. I think there was like a hockey game right after it. There was maybe a UW football game right before. Um, so everyone had kind of been hustling all over the city, and you know, everyone had stayed too for all 18. I mean, the stadium was just as full in the 18th as it was in the first, and it was I think they stopped selling alcohol in like the seventh or eighth, so everyone was getting pretty rowdy at the end. Like, let's go, come on, get this thing over with.
That's when you got to sneak the alcohol in. That's a veteran move if you do that, just in case it goes extras.
All right, noted.
Noted. Today's episode of the Chris Rose Rotation presented by these guys over at Shady Rays. I want you to take on the sun this summer with gear that is built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades at a very affordable price. In fact, Shady Rays offers a world-class product. It's just as good as any expensive pair you've ever worn. But guess what? They keep money in your pocket. They've got the durable frames, extremely clear optics. I'm telling you, everybody, you look great out there. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in the history of eyewear. You've heard me talk about it all across our platforms here at John Boy Media. They are backed by lost and broken replacements. So what does that mean? If you lose or you break a pair, even on day one of ownership, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. So if you call them up and you're like, damn it, I lost my shades, they're not going to be like, really, Rose? What happened? They're going to be like, okay, we got your address on file. We'll send out a new pair. You don't want an explanation? No, we don't need an explanation. We need another pair of sunglasses on your face. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the season. Head on over to shadyrays.com. Use the code word ROSE, 50% off 2+ pair of polarized sunglasses. That's shadyrays.com. Code word is ROSE, 50% off 2+ pair of polarized sunglasses. You will look like $1 million without spending it. So who was the guy who was the jersey that you wore growing up? Were you an Ichiro guy because he was fast and an outfielder, or somebody else?
Yeah, so Ichiro was my first jersey ever. It's actually, let's see if we can see that. But that's
Oh,
like my little mini jersey, right? And then I got to meet him. So that was the coolest thing ever. Um, but yeah, I mean that was, you know, first jersey ever. Trying to think who else I had. I definitely had, a normal size, the white and um, blue jersey. Uh, I can't quite remember who it was.
all right. So when you meet Ichiro, and how old were you? 15, something like that?
No, must have been 18.
Okay. All right. So you were just getting toward the draft and stuff. So did he have an idea kind of like who you were? Like, all right, this kid's going to be a baller coming up?
Um, No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think just the Mariners asked him, they're like, "Hey, we've got this Seattle kid who, really looked up to you and, you were kind of his, favorite player, hero growing up. Um, would you take a few minutes to talk to him?" It was more one of those deals. And so, um, I was really thankful that, the Mariners gave me that opportunity, but then that, he was willing to reciprocate and, just spend that time and just share some little tidbits with me that, that really left an impact on me.
Okay, give me one.
Um, I'd say the biggest one uh, is do the same thing every day. He was a big fan of obviously routine, but he took that to the next level in terms of discipline and refining that routine and kind of the way that he framed it was if you're constantly changing things, how do you know what the cause and effect is in terms of the product on the field? And so, um, you know, not not chasing the results, I think ties into that. Um, you know, just ride the wave, right? Ride the wave.
Did you did you ever try his stance?
Um, no, not really. Yeah, that you talking about the little right there. Yeah, I mean, no, not really.
I want to circle back to the Kevin Durant thing because listen, it's cool if anybody wants to wear your jersey. But when one of the great athletes in the history of his sport, you turn around and you see him, he picked your jersey to wear to the game. That you didn't just take a moment and say, that shit's kind of cool.
Yeah, you know, also crazy. I remember again in Seattle, we'd walk a couple blocks over to Key Arena and go watch KD play for the Sonics. When I was probably 7 or 8. Um, so just was kind of like, whoa, like when he's wearing my jersey, like what? But yeah, I mean, I think he's obviously, he's a pretty big baseball fan. I think seen him at all sorts of games. Yankees. It seems like whatever city he's playing in, he's always showing love to the baseball team and just baseball in general. And so, I heard he might be a little bit of a MLB The Show player too. So maybe that's just a rumor though.
Are you an MLB the show guy too?
Not really. I was for a little bit in 2021, going through rehab. I was like missing baseball, had to get it in some way.
So it's interesting. When you got hurt in 2021, I saw a story that they invited you to sit with one of the advanced scouts behind home plate and watch. And they thought, well, okay, well, maybe you'll show up occasionally. You showed up for every game and sat with the scout. Why was it so important for you to do that? And what did you take away most from watching the game from that perspective?
Yeah, went into it with kind of the idea of, hey, we'll go to a few games here and there. That was another idea that was brought up to me by some people in our front office and coaching staff. And I was like, yeah, let's just see, no harm, no foul. Go check it out. And then, kind of the second I got there, within a game or two, I was like, hey, like, this is something that could really help me. Kind of a unique opportunity. Obviously, most clubs don't have their rehab facility in the same city as their major league city. So yeah, I was definitely glad to take advantage of that. And sitting with like Guardy, as we call him. You know, he's been a manager. He played himself, and now he's kind of on the scouting side and then doing some advanced stuff too. Like he just had so many different views, and so many different experiences that just I think he sees baseball in a little bit different way. than a lot of people that I'd been around, and so he had all sorts of little things. I think that's kind of what got him to that level, to the big league level, and got him to stay there for a while. Was just that attention to detail and the small things. So there was a lot of that element, but also just you know seeing those players like major league players fail, on a somewhat consistent basis. That was that was really powerful, right? Like I think as a minor league player, you look at those guys and it's the pinnacle, right? Like you think that they're perfect, and just watching, it didn't matter if it was the best player on the field, the worst player on the field. Everyone made mistakes, and just seeing how people responded to it. In my mind, I was like, hey, this is a separator, right? Like if everyone's making mistakes and the best players are, um, their head's still in the game, it doesn't seem to phase them. A lot of them, at least. Maybe that's something that is important.
I love that perspective. We spent a lot of time on the show talking about the failure aspect because it is so prevalent in this sport. And the only way you can make it is if you learn how to channel that and how to deal with it and how to fight through it, because every great major leaguer does it. Do you have somebody you rely on? Do you have a mental skills coach? Do you talk to one of your parents? Do you talk to a former coach of yours? Who is it when you're off a little bit that you rely on?
Um, I take some level of importance to trying to be kind of as self-reliant as I can be.
Hmm.
Um, but when I do need someone, and you know, it's it's normally not like, hey, like it's my parents though, it's my family. But it's not normal. It's not, hey, baseball's tough right now. Like, swing's not feeling right, something like that. It's just just being able to talk to them about anything other than baseball. Normally that's my best recipe for success.
It's weird because I feel like I'm talking to a guy who's been in the show for 10 years, but you're 22. There are you have high school classmates that just graduated from college, right? And here you are
Yeah.
at the highest level of your profession. Um, can you can you be 22 and be a nine-figure guy and have all this attention and still kind of be a kid that makes mistakes in life, or do you feel like a pressure to have to be the dude right now?
Yeah, I think that definitely speaks back to kind of what we are talking about with what I saw in 21, right? And like, I mean, if you want to throw, like now I won't use names, but you know, I see the, you know, best player in the field make mistakes and keep his head up and go 0 for 4 and then come up with the game winning at bat. Seeing all those different little things, it's like, you know, no one gets it right all the time. It's all percentages, and maybe those percentages slide based on who you're facing, how you're feeling that day, but just I think 100% of your efforts, all that's, you know, if you can put that in, you're in a good spot.
More of the Rose Rotation coming your way, but first I want to let you know there has never been a better time for Rose Rotation listeners to fan like a champ thanks to the good folks at Foco.com. Why? Because Foco is officially licensed by Major League Baseball and the MLBPA. They have a ton of products out there. Everything from these cool straw hats, which come in so handy during the summer to fight the sun. They've got floral shirts. They've got loungewear. They've got really cool player and even mascot bobbleheads. Where can you get a bobblehead like Slider? Huh? You can get it at Foco. It's obviously never been easier to get the gear, find your fandom, let everybody know where your allegiances lie, right? Got the big C for my Cleveland team. Foco.com. Everything you need for 162 games and beyond, whether you're taking in the action at the ballpark or just lounging at home. So if you're ready to take your team spirit to the next level, head on over to foco.com/JohnBoy. That is FOCO.com/JohnBoy. Get ready to gear up. And right now for our listeners, you use that code word JohnBoy, you're going to get 50% off your first order. That is foco.com. Be a great fan today. Have you gone up to Longo yet and told him, hey, I was 7 years old when you made your major league debut?
Alongo's the best. He really is. But yeah, he makes all sorts of jokes about, how young I am, how old he is. No, but I mean, at heart, he's a kid too, right? I mean, he loves just hanging with the guys, and yeah, he's been a great influence to have this year.
So you didn't answer my question. You make old man jokes?
No.
Hey, dude can still swing it, especially against lefties. I saw him hit one 452 the other day to dead center. He can still get it done.
Yeah, it seems like every homer he hits is just 430 plus. I mean, he's got incredible power, and it's easy too. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it ain't bad. I saw you get your first walk-off hit the other day. I couldn't believe that they said that was at any level. Why, were you always the guy scoring the game-winning run and not, because you were on base being a pest?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I trying to think back on it. I don't think there was like that many opportunities. Um, but yeah, in the minor leagues, I probably had like maybe one or two, and then never in high school. Maybe once or twice in summer ball or whatever. But yeah, just not. I don't know. Not wasn't too many opportunities, but yeah, to just get that win was a big one. It was our first sweep of the year. And it was a 4-game sweep, you know, which made it a little sweeter. So yeah, cool way to be able to, cap off that first sweep.
All right. So then you get to put on, I don't know, are we calling it the victory vest? Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
Okay. You guys are going to start a trend because that one is actually one you could wear out to the club. I think that's who put this one together.
See, it's a mystery. It just showed up in the clubhouse one day. There's some suspicion that it was Gurriel. I could see I could see Longo having some influence on that one as well. And I was over by Nicky's locker too, so maybe it was Nick. But yeah, I think Tori was joking that he's got one like that in his garage or something like that.
Nice. It's I mean, you guys might be selling these things in the gift shop pretty soon. It's going to be like the Padres home run chain. There's going to be fans walking around with victory vests pretty soon out there.
Yeah, hopefully it's like a fan giveaway a little later this year or something.
Hey, marketing department's already on that bad boy. I can tell you that. So you mentioned you were a Mariners fan. You got to be a Seahawks fan. I mean, that's right in your wheelhouse when you were growing up, them going on the Super Bowl run.
Oh yeah. Kind of cool to see them have this resurgence that seems to be coming now. But yeah, that was right in my childhood. Those Legion of Boom teams, those Super Bowl teams. Yeah, that was on game days. I think it's pretty well known. Like the stadium gets pretty loud, and you could sometimes hear it from my parents' house. Just that's what Seattle football is to me.
So the day that they whooped the Broncos in Super Bowl 48, where were you? At a party?
think I was with some select ball teammates. It was either for that one or for the uh, that might have been the Pats one actually. But
Ooh.
yeah, went a little different. But yeah, no. Either with some select ball teammates or at a Super Bowl party, I'm sure.
So I also work for the NFL Network, and so I was actually I was doing the post game after Super Bowl 49, and our green room is in the bowels of the stadium, and the Seahawks had to walk past our green room to get to their locker room. There's like a 7-second delay on the TV in between real time. So you hear the crowd going nuts after the goal line interception, and a bunch of the Seahawks walk off the field. And I see Marshawn Lynch walk past, shaking his head. I got Bruce Irvin is screaming at the top of his lungs, like, why the fuck didn't we give the ball to 24? Screaming. I'm sitting here going, oh my God, people could see this right now. Holy smokes. I imagine that's probably the pervasive feeling that day as a Seahawks fan, right?
Yeah, I think. Shoot, I remember. I think that was the one that I was with my teammates for because I remember we were like probably what 13, 12, and
Mm-hmm.
we decided we're like we can't watch this last play. We all just like looked away. We were like hiding behind the couch, and then we look up and we're like, what just happened? Like just yeah, that was a nightmare, man.
Mm. Let's talk a little bit more about your team. As we tape, you guys are in first place in the National League West. I think the first month or so, everybody's like, oh, that's kind of a cute story. Well, now we're like 9 weeks into the season. Why are the Diamondbacks going to be here in late September, staring eye to eye with the Dodgers, if not being ahead of them?
I mean, I think just what it really comes down to is, um, you know, just keeping the sights narrow. I don't think a lot of us necessarily think about that, right? Like, I think we're focused on today and showing up to the field prepared. Um, and I think just the confidence that we all have right now, like a great example would be last night. We're down 4-0 after the first. Um, they hit a grand slam. Fans are pretty into it. And it didn't seem like anyone batted an eye. And I think that's an impressive trait for a team. So I think kind of that combination of we've had a ton of come from behind victories. Just I think that's given us an ability to come into any game and be in any game, regardless of the score, and just be singularly focused on, when we're in the field, we're going to make all the plays. When we're at the plate, we're going to score as many runs as we can. And, I think that's given us a lot of freedom.
One of my favorite guys in the game is Torey Lovello. And because he feels like he could just hang in a clubhouse. I think he's got a lot of like Terry Francona in him. Just a guy who doesn't ask too much of you. Just play your ass off, do a few of the right things, and that's good enough for me. But he also is kind of like a little bit of a goofball, like funny dude. Do you get to see that side of him?
Yeah, a little bit. Probably not as much as some, but yeah, a little bit. I think he tries to put on a little bit more of the tough face for the young guys, right? Like be more that example. But yeah, I've seen him, get loose and joke around a little bit. But yeah, no, he's you know obviously the only manager I've played for, but um, I have nothing but good things to say about him. He was really good to me during my rehab process and like would shoot me a phone call or text every once in a while and
Hmm.
just check in. And obviously at that point, I wasn't a big league player yet. Just, one of the minor league guys. And so I think that just says a lot about him and, his attention to detail, his commitment to this organization. Um, yeah.
Listen, when people talk about you right now, they obviously talk about the deal that you signed after just 38 major league games. Um, and I know that the money's there. It's great. It's not what I understand all that stuff. But when you're 22 and you sign a piece of paper and now you're set for life, did you take a second and be like, God, that is amazing that happened that quickly?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like, a part of it. You know, I guess when it was first brought up to me, um, agent came and was kind of just like, hey, they're they're interested in, at least talking.
Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
Good one.
Yeah, but they're interested in that, at least talking, they just want to hear, they want to see if you'd be interested in hearing what they have to say. Um, would you? And um, yeah, I was like, absolutely, 100%. Um, I think that any time that, you know, if it's life-changing money, and I think that that deserves respect and not yeah, just kind of a realization, obviously, that not a lot of people get this opportunity, and so just really tried to go into that, just very respectful. Just was yeah, just not something that a lot of people get that opportunity. So was pretty grateful to be able to go through that process and have something work out.
Hey guys, sorry for interrupting the program, but join the NBA Finals action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you use code ROSE, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of the Boot Hill Casino and Resort in KC, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt in a 10-plus leg required for a 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposits restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Now back to the show.
All right, I got a couple more, and then we'll let you go back to doing what you do. You do great, and that's prep for the Washington Nationals. I know the moments don't seem too big for you, but has there been that moment where you've been on the field with somebody and you're like, that's cool. Like, that is awesome. Getting to share the same office space with somebody yet.
Yeah. My first game when everything was still, just first game, getting to see Harper, that was a pretty cool moment. That was probably the one that comes to mind.
Did you ever have a chance to say something to him? Did he welcome you to the show? I mean, you guys are both outfielders, so
yeah, both outfielders stuff, but yeah, no. I guess, yeah, the infielders a little more chatty with, right? Like Freddie was another cool one. That's cool because you get to be over on first base, and you get to say, welcome to the show, kid.
That ain't bad. Last thing I want to hit on. You are one of the faster ball players out there. When did you know that you could outrun anybody? And have you had one of those moments where somebody's challenged you to a race and you'd be like, really? So I'm going to take $20 from you right now just to show you up on all this stuff.
Um, I've always been on the faster side. Was honestly growing up was more of like a long distance runner. You know, mile, 5K. And then kind of more starting in probably beginning of high school. Started to focus a little bit more on just being explosive. A little shorter term, some sprint stuff. But yeah, middle school and before was always cross country guy, not a track and field guy. So kind of interesting how things worked out.
Don't tell me you get one of those runners high, because I come
on. Yeah, no, not really. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, you can track them down with the best of it. By the way, is Gold Glove on the wish list for you one of these days?
Yeah, I mean, we've got an incredible outfield coach in Dave McKay, and I think it would be a really big honor to for any of us to win a Gold Glove. I think it's just a testament to him, and would be something that would be really cool to do for him.
All right, before we let you go, we're going to spin the wheel of moderately interesting things. You'll answer one question, get you out of here. Crushing it. This is going to be a weird question since you're so young, but who was your first childhood crush?
First childhood crush? I feel like Jennifer Aniston's up there. I think
Dude,
that might be.
You just moved up a few on the ladder. That's impressive. What were you watching? Reruns of Friends?
No, she was in all sorts of movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good one. That's a good one. All right. She was on my list too. I just want to let you know, but that's kind of bad news for you since I got 30 years on you, but that's all right. That's all right. Hey, listen, man, it has been a blast watching you so far through 100 games of big league ball. Keep doing your thing, and you and the Diamondbacks are onto something special here. It's been really fun watching you through the first 9 weeks of the season.
Hey, yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Continued success to you as well. For our amazing producer, Robbie Scirocco, our summer intern, Alden Stone, and the present and future of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll, I am Chris Rose. We will see you next time here on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media.